Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Star Wars figure review. Now today we're going to be taking a look at something just a little bit different and something I have been so very excited about since it was announced at San Diego Comic-Con. Now I have been on the lookout for this guy ever since some of those early reviews went up online, but when I was over at New York Comic-Con, I managed to stumble across this figure at a GameStop, and if it wasn't for Zachary, King Zachary V, I wouldn't have picked this piece up. It was his words of encouragement that made me go ahead and grab this, and I'm so very thankful for it because this guy, spoiler alert, is absolutely phenomenal. Now, for those of you who don't know, this Hyper Real line is about a 1/8 scale. It's a bit of a funky scale, but it's a new line of figures by Hasbro. It's basically their premium edition line of Star Wars figures. Who knows, it may even extend to Marvel characters in the future, but for now, it sits amongst the Star Wars Black Series figures. So it's a new, bigger scale. It's got a metal endoskeleton, and this figure has a rubber body, much like a Bison figure, over the top of that metal endoskeleton. So it's going to be really interesting to see how it holds up over time, and also what their upcoming Luke Skywalker actually ends up looking like, whether or not it'll have a full rubber body as well that mimics his Bespin outfit, or if it's going to be just a cloth goods outfit. Either way, what we're going to do now is get all of Darth Vader's accessories out here and take a look at everything he comes with. Now, as you can see, Darth Vader pretty much comes with everything you would expect him to, except he does come with one little bit of a funky addition, being this piece right here. I don't know if this is meant to replicate him using the Force, or whether it's meant to replicate him blocking the blaster bolts from Han Solo's blaster or not, but as you can see, it's detailed quite nicely. It's sculpted pretty well for whatever it's supposed to be, really, and it is made of a softer rubber, and it does have a handprint on the back that you can use with Darth Vader's hands to sort of plug it on there, and as I said, either make it look like he's doing one of those two things. So cool that they included it, not something that I will ever be using on my figure personally. Now, it does come with a lightsaber, and this being a mass-produced Hasbro figure, you do notice some funky things, like the warping. As you can see, it's a bit of a warped lightsaber. You can heat it up though and get it to sit straight. I just haven't actually done that yet because I wanted to show you what it looks like out of the box, but as you can see, you can remove the blade, and then the actual hilt itself is detailed quite nicely. It's just unfortunate that it's a little bit warped. It's not the blade itself that's warped as much, it's more the actual hilt itself, and it's having trouble focusing on this really tiny little hilt. There we go, but it's detailed quite nicely. Now, he does come with a display base, being this piece right here, which I guess is meant to replicate the floor of like the carbon freezing chamber in on Bespin, but as you can see, it's pretty hollow on the back. Now, he does come with 3 little pegs which you can remove. They are stuck in there really tightly though. You can actually remove them and then put them in on various different places on the display base to have Darth Vader himself pegged in there in case you are worried about him falling over. And then it does come with this little clip right here that you can use to adhere to the side, and then I would assume when more figures in the line actually come out, you can complete more of the circle, and then hopefully eventually have the actual carbon freezing little hole chamber thing where Han Solo obviously was lowered into. I would love a Bespin Han from this line, and I would also really like a Bespin Leia, and then hopefully we'd get a Chewie as well. I'd like to see a Chewie in this line. I don't know how they'd tackle it, if it would be real fur or not, but I'm still really interested to see what else does come out. Now, in terms of the hands themselves, they are painted and detailed quite nicely. As you can see, they are one solid piece. They're not that sort of double jointed piece with a joint in the middle there. They are just one fixed piece. They actually switch in and out really easily in terms of popping them onto the figure. I thought it'd be an issue, but no, they are totally fine. The actual ball joint itself is really nice and long, and it fits into the hand quite easily. Not like the Hot Toys one, which is a real pain in the ass to switch out. This one is totally fine. Either way, what we're going to do now is get Darth Vader himself out here and take a closer look at the outfit. And here we have Darth Vader himself. And let me just say, this guy looks really, really impressive. Once you get him in a really good-looking sort of Vader-esque pose, he definitely does come to life. This is a really impressive figure by Hasbro, much more so than I was actually expecting. I didn't know what to expect going in. I mean, I've seen this figure, I've seen pictures of it, I saw it at San Diego Comic-Con, but in person, this guy does not disappoint. If you're a Star Wars fan and you're okay with getting into a new line, a different scale of figures, and for a little bit of a cheaper price, mind you, this is definitely one to grab. In my opinion, this rivals even the Hot Toys figures. It's just at a different scale, so it doesn't really compete with them, which is good because I reckon this guy could give Hot Toys a run for their money in proper 1/6 scale. With that full metal endoskeleton and the nice rubber body, this guy is definitely not here to joke around. He's definitely a really awesome piece, and one that I think a lot of people will be picking up Either way, what we're going to do now is get him off the rotating turntable and take a closer look at the outfit itself. Now, taking a closer look at Vader himself, this is a really, really impressive figure. Now, we may as well start off with the helmet itself. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is based off Empire Strikes Back, and you can tell that by the actual orientation and colors of all the buttons, and also the tunic being underneath the armor itself. In A New Hope, it was over the top, and same thing with Rogue One, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, it was underneath. But this one right here is based off his appearance in Empire Strikes Back, and I think the helmet looks really, really good. Very Darth Vader-esque. It doesn't look anything like that sad Vader that we saw from the first figure from Black Series, that first Darth Vader figure. This one is absolutely outstanding. Now, the gloss on the dome looks really, really good, but a word of warning, when you do get this guy out of the package, this helmet is actually tucked into the plastic clam tray, so do be careful when you're pulling it out not to actually scratch this piece up, because the high gloss is something that you're probably going to want to look after because it looks really darn good. Now, talking about the cape itself, the material on the cape is actually quite nice. It's really light, it drapes very easily, and you can see that there is that chain underneath. Now, you can pull it back if you would like to hide the chain underneath the helmet, or of course you can have it lying a little bit more forward. I'm pretty sure there was a little clip that actually held the chain in place because the actor David Prowse was getting choked by the chain, so they actually installed a little clip there to have it sit a little bit lower, and I'm pretty sure that was visible. I don't know if it was on Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi, but you'll have to let me know down in the comments below. Now, the armor itself is painted quite nicely, and as you can see, it just sits over the top of the outfit. It's not a part of it, it just sort of actually floats on there. You could probably remove it if you wanted to switch this out and maybe do a bit of paintwork and make this look like the New Hope version of Darth Vader, but for now, it just sits over the top and it looks pretty good. And then the really nice light fabric also extends to the tunic as well. Now, a couple of people were saying the paintwork was a bit rough on their figures. As you can see on mine, I think it looks pretty darn clean. I mean, these are a few little bits and pieces up here, but for the most part, the belt and the boxes and actually the chest box here looks really, really good. Now, let's take a look at the rubber actual suit itself, because a lot of people are probably interested in what I mean. Now, the entire body from head to toe is covered in a rubber suit, and as you can see, when you bend the arm, which is really stiff, by the way, because of that metal armature, you get a really nice look of the actual outfit itself. It doesn't have that really sort of funky look of when you bend a Fison arm or something like that, because there's no anatomy. It's just a suit itself. So when you bend it, I think it looks really natural, and it creases up really nicely. It looks like a proper Darth Vader suit. Now, as I said, the joints are all really stiff, which is, of course, a really good thing. You don't want to have loose joints on a figure, but just something to be aware of when you are posing him, not to sort of, break anything while trying to force it, because the joints, as I said, are really, really stiff. Either way, let's angle the camera down to give you a look at the rest of the outfit. Panning the camera down to take a look at the legs. As you can see, that rubber body extends down here as well, and you get a really nice range of motion out of those legs for a pretty much covered figure, and I'm really impressed with what they've managed to do here. The boots as well are also covered with a rubber. In fact, I'm pretty sure this all one piece. No, it's actually a separate rubber boot over the top, but I'm very impressed with the range of motion on the boots. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's even more than the Hot Toys figure, so very, very impressed with what Hasbro has managed to do here. Of course, they're a company that's been around for a long time, so finally they're bringing their really high-end line to fruition, and I think this is a really nice piece. I'm actually so very impressed with this Darth Vader. I cannot wait to pick up the rest of these figures from this line. Now, for a quick side-by-side comparison, here's the Homecoming Mezco Spidey, and as you can see, the Darth Vader's huge. He's really, really big. Now, I'm not going to compare him to the Hot Toys figure because he's absolutely enormous compared to this guy, but I thought I'd give you a bit of an idea of where he stands next to a normal 6-inch style action figure. And of course, the Mezco Spidey is totally awesome, and that's why he's here. But as you can see, I'm pretty sure this is around a 1/8 scale figure. Do correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments below if someone said it's a 1/9 or 1/10 or whatever it may be. I just personally do like this scale of figure, and I think this works quite nicely. It's not big enough to be overly cumbersome in terms of the actual Hot Toys figures where you just want to put them in a display case and not mess around with them too much, and it's also still playable enough so you can mess around with it without having to worry about it breaking, because it's a very big, sturdy figure. Either way, that's just wrapping up on this Black Series hyper-real Darth Vader figure. I personally am very impressed with what Hasbro has done here. They've blown it out of the water in terms of getting this figure just right. Now, I know a lot of people are upset. Hasbro's gone out, done a completely new scale, a higher price point, and sort of alienated a couple of the collecting communities, but I still think it's a really nice piece and a nice fresh start to a new line of figures that Hasbro can really make their own. Now, I do hope that we get a Bespin Han and a whole bunch of other characters. A Stormtrooper in this sort of format would work really well as well, so I'm hoping that they eventually get around to doing that, and they start to fill out the ranks of the Star Wars universe, starting with Empire Strikes Back, which is my personal favorite Star Wars movie. Either way, if you are looking for this guy, I'm pretty sure he's available at GameStop, ThinkGeek, and over in Australia, EB Games and Zing, but I can't be too sure where it's sort of popping up here and there. Of course, you can always try eBay if you would like to pick up your very own hyper-real Darth Vader. Also, check out 6 Scale Network, the brand new awesome Facebook group. Come along, chat figures, share photos of your collection, and just overall have a good time. Also, check out Justin and Steph, our brand new second channel, where we do vlogs, behind the scenes videos, and a hell of a lot more stuff. Also, let me know if you'd like to see more from this sort of style of review of Star Wars figures in different scales, mezcos, and stuff like that. I can definitely make that happen. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.